I think one of my best memories of London is the very first time that I actually went to London. Going to Piccadilly Circus, seeing all the people really being very creative with their fashion, at the same time have this love for music. And as the years have gone on, going back to London has always given me this sense of Europe as my first place to really come into Europe. And I've always loved it. When I'm in London, one thing that I've always felt is that the crowd really understand vocals. So big vocal records have always really worked for me in the UK, and especially in London, because they're very clued up musically. So they always need something fresh or something big. I think something that the general public might not be aware of is how very real the streets are whenever you go to places like Portobello, Nottingham Gate. When I first went to the UK, it just really reminded me of almost like the Bronx, but at the same time, a fantastically warm Bronx, great people in it. But there's a very real side to London, and people need to know that. I think if people are traveling to London for the very first time, one of the best pieces of advice I would tell you is that getting on a cab from the airport to London is going to be very expensive. There's so many places to go in London that it's hard to pinpoint just one. I know I happen to love going to Covent Garden every time I'm in the UK as a place to walk around and shop. I love going to places like Shoreditch, which is more like the Village in New York, very bohemian, very trendy. And there are tons of great restaurants in London. Any place. Places like Zuma, one of my favorite Japanese restaurants in the world, as a matter of fact. Songs that remind me of London. As one of my favorite bands in the world is Coldplay, and whenever I hear Clocks, for some reason it just reminds me, I think because the first time I heard it is when I was in London. And then as a house song, Alice in Limerick's Where Love Lives is one of my favorite London house anthems, because when I first played that record, it was in London and the response was amazing all those years ago.